Hello, Galaxy. Chris Pirillo here, and apparently the camera wants to focus on a head that is up there somewhere. This is the dynamic continuity camera connected to the Mac. I've talked about it so many times because when people jump into the live stream at live.pirillo.com, which we are using right now to broadcast and coordinate the TLDR efforts, talk about today's tech news, some tech deals, and everything in between. I use this camera on. Or at least during the day, I use it on the Mac as it's connected to the Mac using continuity camera, and so it dynamically shifts wherever it detects my head theoretically. But then for some reason it was wanting to migrate north. I don't think there's a head up there. There may very well be a head back there of Darth Vader that is trying to focus on that I need to pull it away.
Be funny.
So I think that's what's happening. I think it found a Darth Vader and was like, "Hey, maybe there are two people in this scene. Maybe I need to step back." So that'll take some troubleshooting because I'm not exactly sure what else is there within the camera's range that would be detected as a face to do something like that. All right, so let's go ahead jump into today's tech news. I've got the screen ready to share here. I'm also joined by C76, who's been playing some Wii Punch Out. How far did you get?
What was that guy? The last one I did?
Super Macho Man.
Yeah, Super Macho Man. Yeah.
And Glendon is joining us as well, playing Hogwarts Legacy.
Yep.
And you were telling us about a new game, Sons of the Forest, which Nipron is currently playing.
Nipron is currently playing that. I do have it purchased and downloaded. I've just not started it yet. Waiting on a couple friends to get it, and then whenever they get it, we plan on coming in and streaming.
Okay, that makes sense. Good timing. Let me go ahead and change the category on Twitch here to science and technology when we begin TLDR. It's a good thing to do. It's a nice thing that we were able to do on Twitch that we can't do easily on YouTube. So this is we've got a full space of geeks, gamers, nerds, all of them in between. So this is the way it's going to look for now. We can max out at 10 participants at any given time. If you ever want to join the live stream, apart from just watching at live.pirillo.com, you can actually participate. You can jump in and actually be a part of the stream itself. It's pretty wild. It's a new way of doing things. I've never seen anybody do something like it, which is either good or bad. We're going to try it, see where it goes. Starting today's news with Microsoft having released Bing AI with ChatGPT on mobile and Skype. It always surprises me that Skype is still alive. But now you would be able to use the app and interface with ChatGPT in a similar construct. I'm not, I guess I'm not going to be downloading Bing or Skype or anything of the sorts. If I'm going to use ChatGPT, I'm probably going to go directly to ChatGPT directly. I've done it on mobile, and it's pretty efficient, and then it saves the history. And I've also done it by way of the web. So I'm not exactly sure this is a benefit to me because I don't use Skype. Am I the only one? Do y'all use Skype?
No.
I have it because I have a couple family members that just won't get off of it.
See, it just surprises me that it's still around. It really does. I thought they sunset it in favor of Teams, and maybe at some point in the future.
Well, I think that's still in the works, but they haven't really pulled the trigger or even said that. But that has been kind of been published out there before, that this is where they're moving forward. They're not going to do any more anything much with Skype anymore, and the whole idea is that they're going to put all their focus on Teams, so which makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. When that will happen, I don't know. It may be another one of these things like Internet Explorer. At some point, they'll be like, we're uninstalling Skype, and every time you try to launch Skype now, it'll launch Teams instead.
Yeah, they've been trying to do that for like 4 years now. It's been that long, because I remember in a job that I had previously, we were originally using Skype, and then we were told, oh, let's go to Microsoft Teams because they're going to abandon it. And it's still going. So,
but yet you're saying ChatGPT is now going to be part of, or is part of Skype?
In Skype.
Yeah.
And,
I guess that's for when someone tells me now to go call someone who cares, then maybe I'll actually get someone who cares.
That might very well be. So if you have the Bing, the Skype, and the Edge apps, you'll be able to find it there. And assumedly Teams, I'm sure that's going to roll in. In fact, there's I don't think we covered the news, but not that I think this is an audience that is necessarily interested in it, but the Teams app is getting rewritten, and I think they're going to be, or has been getting rewritten, and I believe they're going to be rolling that out in March, right around the time I will basically be stopping the use of Teams. So it's kind of funny how that works. Good to see you, Jerry. Welcome in. Welcome back. Hopefully everything's doing well on your side. So anyway, so they're getting a rewrite at the time that I'm basically like not going to be using it. I don't know anybody who just loves using Teams though. I can't think of anybody. Usually everyone uses it that I know of begrudgingly.
It feels like another Microsoft app where they were, I don't know, if to me a lot of this stuff that Microsoft does a lot of times is like they're asleep at the wheel and then they try to come in and catch up, right? Because I think when Teams was coming in, Zoom was really taking off at that point, and they played catch up with some of the features that they had put in it. And
well, it was mostly Slack. Yeah, back it was like a Slack competitor, a Microsoft Slack, and it did a poor job at it. I mean, when you get used to it, it's fine, but the performance is the thing that hurts Teams the most.
Yeah,
software.
I agree.
It's not the idea; it's the implementation, and the software is just at this time. At some point in the near future, maybe Teams will be something worth using. Today, maybe on the web. On the desktop,
I haven't noticed, but I think with Teams, the one feature that I found kind of useful a couple times, because there's that, I'm usually damn to whatever vendor wants to use whatever when we go into a chat. So if I have to call out for support with another vendor and get on a call with them and share screen and collaborate with them, I found that Teams has that feature where we both can have a mouse and be clicking on different things. And I'm not sure I've seen any other software out there that does that, and I thought that was kind of a neat idea.
Well, you're going to see a lot more AI integration across the board for a lot of these collaborative apps, especially Teams, meeting summaries and what have you, which would make them better to use in certain instances, especially extrapolation of notes, simple notes.
Right.
Speaking of software, Mozilla is reporting that nearly 80% of Google Play Store apps have discrepancies in privacy reporting. This isn't a surprise, whether it's paid apps or free apps. And you would imagine free apps are just like crazy when it comes to privacy stuff. I just feel like one of the reasons why I'm very careful about downloading apps is because of this. And we talked about this, I think, yesterday too. I'm very, very careful. I don't install an app unless I absolutely need to. Unless it's like an absolute must-have, need to use it, got to have it right now, or it's critical for day-to-day stuff, I won't install it. I mean, you've got data that's potentially leaking privacy, right? Including, there's a favorite of a lot of people's, Nova Launcher. A lot of people love Nova Launcher. Apparently, it rated poor for being able to report at least paid apps representing the lowest degree of similarity between Google's data safety form and their privacy policies. So there are mismatches here in expectations that I think are just set up to like, oh, well, Google Play Store says it's okay because this, and this. But maybe that's not the actual case. And I don't think most people will even go as far as to track that. Now, unless your home network or your network in general, or you have like a VPN installed on the phone or at the network level, I mean, you got to assume that anything that you install is going to be tracking you in one way, shape, or form. And it's never been more apparent than when you install an ad blocker that shows you all of that stuff that's otherwise just leaking out. Yeah, so I care about it. I care about the privacy. It doesn't usually stop me from installing things. I'm a little more cavalier, a little more freeing with that policy when it comes to installing things that I need to install, if only because I take the conservative approach of just installing the things that I might want to use on a regular basis. If it's not, it's usually nuked. Usually, not always. But this doesn't surprise me. 80% of Google Play Store apps have discrepancies in privacy reporting. Is that something that gives you pause, Galinden, before you install an app?
I was like that prior to even hearing this. A lot along the lines of yourself. If I don't need it, I don't get it. And I usually and don't think that paid apps aren't just as bad as others. You know, they can be. So don't get the false sense of security with paid apps either. I just always try to watch what I download. If it's something that I need that I'm going to use on a daily basis, I will get it. If it helps with productivity or something along those lines. But if it's something that's to have just for the sake of having, I don't do it anyway. So it's not surprising at all. I'm not going to change the way that I download apps because I feel I do a pretty good job at it right now anyway. So I would say it's jarring to some folks, but not me. I'm really not surprised.
What about you, Sam?
I'm pretty much the same, right? Like I'm very cautious about what I'm installing, and only really install what I need, and you know.
See, it doesn't like if you look at these apps, right? That for in terms of the comparison between the policies, what rated poor? Twitter, shock. Facebook, shock. Messenger, shock. Samsung push services, shock. Like all of those things, even Snapchat, shock. Needs improvement. YouTube, shock. Google Chrome, shock. Maps, like.
And he's being sarcastic, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like, obviously, like, duh. Like, you know, you install Facebook. You just, if anybody says, "Oh, I care about my privacy," I posted about it on Facebook. Like,
you've been living under a rock and haven't been watching the news.
It's just like, I care about my privacy, and they use Google Chrome. I'm like, if you care, I understand it, and I do care, but I also understand that there's only so much you can do before you start cutting yourself off from experiences that otherwise you wouldn't have. So, yeah, I mean, none of this was baffling to me. Apart from, you know, there are discrepancies that are certainly out there for sure. This was a post by Skepta. I broke into a bank account with an AI generated voice. See, this is the thing. This is why I always get nervous. Right? Oops, sorry, I flipped tabs there. Why I always get nervous with the opening any accounts anywhere and dealing with people, and even automated systems where they say, "Oh, we'll just use this or we'll use that," and then before you know it, someone's figured out a workaround. And that's the danger, right? Someone always figures out a workaround. When you've laid something down and you feel safe and secure, don't. And I think the world of AI is going to make these types of situations more prevalent, and AI is going to force the world to change, but most of that world just still hasn't changed. There are some places that still accept faxes. So
get me started on fax.
Yeah.
Like our company has to do that because of the type of customers and stuff that come in, so there's a lot of faxing. Like,
so, you know, when we tilt into the future, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. So it says right there, banks in the U.S. and Europe tout Voice ID as a secure way to log into your account. I proved it's possible to trick such systems with free or cheap AI-generated voices. Done. Like, that's scary. I mean, you just like, you got to keep an eye on things anyway. But when companies don't recognize the dangers of technology and they implement these types of features, you're the one who suffers. People suffer.
Oh yeah.
The average user suffers. So this is, people ask, "Oh, why don't you have a smart this, that, or the other thing?" Like, there's a reason my stuff's disconnected. I don't need my toaster phoning home. I don't need my dishwasher phoning. I don't need any of that. I don't want any of that at all. All that stuff's off. Forget it. Done. And for this kind of reason, like, it's useful technology, right? It's very handy. It's convenient. It's a technology as a matter of convenience. Using your voice. Okay, that's easy. Then you don't have to remember this, that, or the other thing. But this is what happens.
You know what's really bad too? It's funny you mentioned that, because I just noticed the other day on my Wi-Fi, like when I was trying to connect a device, and I saw someone's Samsung washing machine out there. And so that stuff, like even if a person wants to opt out of it or doesn't want to set it up or whatever, like their default to on, and then it's just the default password and everything. I could literally log on to it, if I wanted to log on to it, but then they do have where you'd have to connect it to your own Samsung account and stuff like that. But
Right.
still, I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Doesn't surprise me. I think we even have some appliances here, in terms of the different, I'll buy a smart because it's the only device, but I'll never turn it on. Right? It's like just knowing that
making sure it's off too,
off,
right?
Right.
Because like I said, I'm sure that this person just I don't need that. I just like the washing machine or whatever, and
Yep.
just the person hooked it up, and probably the people that delivered it plugged it in that, and they were like, okay, well then you're good to go. We got you hooked up, and they're great and don't care about the internet stuff of it, but yet it's sitting out there ready for someone to log in, and then you can get that compromised, then use it as a springboard onto something else on your network and whatever
It's a
else.
danger. Thank you, Matthew Boski, for popping in. Appreciate the follow. This is a 24/7 stream, playing video games, talking tech. Right now, we're in the middle of a broadcast of, it's a 24/7 broadcast. We're in the middle of a block where we talk about today's news and tech deals. So you've come along at a perfect time. But then again, I'd say that, even when we weren't doing it, you've come along at a perfect time. If you want, you can actually join as well and bring whatever you're doing into the stream. So it's easy and it's very community open. Crystal Coder notes, trouble with those IoT devices is that they can be used as a proxy to hack into other systems. Yep,
That's exactly what it was saying. Yeah,
that's why I just won't. I don't have any smart stuff. Just won't do it. It's not worth it. That for that reason and that reason alone, not worth it.
And how often are you taking patch updates for your washing machine, right?
Well, how often are they updated?
Yeah,
right?
well that's the other part of it, right? As a TV, it might be a little more often.
Well, I don't have my
machine,
TV
maybe not
connected.
so much.
I'll go maybe once a year, once every couple of years to see if there are any updates, and rarely have there been since an early HDR update. But I just there's no reason to have it connected. Zero reason to have it connected to the internet. Zero. So I'm not going to do it.
Not to get too far, but it's still kind of on topic. I don't know if you ever watched when they rebooted or brought back the X-Files for a little while. There was one episode that I think anybody that loves tech would got a huge kick out of and a good laugh. I did. And it was all about all the smart devices and everything and how it was used against them. And it was the whole episode of it. They literally had self-driving cars driving recklessly and drones following them. It's an episode that was just hilarious, but it makes you think after watching that episode too. It's wonder.
It can happen.
Yep.
Tyler notes, network segmentation is key. I totally agree. It's in on the right router. It's inconsequential to set up. Matthew asked, do you think AI will replace photographers or graphic designers? I'm not going to go as far as to say replace. I do believe that some people would normally turn to graphic designers or photographers, might not in the future, because AI will have continued to evolve to the point where it works well enough and potentially even better. I mean, there's something to be said about taking a hands-on approach and not relying upon a computer for intelligence or creativity, but at some point you're just as well off doing some of that stuff on your own with the right tool. So I don't think it's going to replace, but I do think it's going to steeply diminish the value of, if that makes sense. All right, so next I've got another one that I'm kind of excited about. Google's bringing Magic Eraser to all Google One subscribers, including iPhone users. So if you use Google Photos, this is a big deal. When one of the things that agitated me when they rolled out the Pixel 7 Pro, I think it was the 7, they had a feature called Magic Eraser, where they did a Samsung's done an okay job with their software. It's okay. It's not great. But Google did a better job with theirs, where you can like highlight, something to remove, and then you remove it. Or there's another one called Camouflage, letting you desaturate potentially distracting background objects rather than erasing them from the picture entirely. So this was something that came over from the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro a couple of years ago. So these features are effectively rolling out real soon to Google Photo users. So I think that it's a boon for people that already use Google's software, specifically Google Photos, and you're already paying for Google One, so it's just a nice little bump. So I appreciate when those features roll out to other platforms, because I would argue this is something that could have and should have worked on devices that weren't Pixel devices. I don't think those features were not going to sell people on a Pixel phone. No way. Y'all may feel differently about this one, but I always look forward to software updates. Like, hey, I'm already paying for it, and here's something that makes it worth even more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I already subscribed, so it's just going to benefit me, and it's nice to see that it's finally on other devices.
It's a simple enough feature.
Yeah, like you said, it should have already been baked in, but I'm glad that we're going to get it.
It made no sense. All right, here's another one. And I actually looked at this article when Yasir shared it the other day. NSA sharing guidance on how to secure your home network. This is such low-hanging fruit. Like, this is like, I look at it and go, duh. This is not how you secure. This is like the bare bones. This is not even 101. Like, and it shocks me how many people don't necessarily follow these guidelines, right? But close your webcam when you're not using it. Like, we can't turn off all the cameras, or home assistants. Limit nearby sensitive conversations in and around, Google Play or anything that, might pick up your voice. So it's like, our homes are filled with this stuff. You can't, this is not practical. I suppose this is actionable according to the NSA, but they don't get into the whole idea of stop using smart home technologies. They tell you to limit your conversations around them, which should tell you a lot. Mute microphones when not in use. Okay, I can understand that. External sources backup data on external drives or portable media.
Who mutes their microphones, though? Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. It's just it's not
like
even
the biggest selling feature is so that I can stay on my lazy ass and tell the lights to go on or off, right? So, I'm not gonna get up and say, "Well, I'm done with that," so now I'm gonna get up anyway and flick a switch, right?
Yep.
No one's gonna do that.
Yeah, I go around. If I'm not using a device, that's what I do. I disconnect it. I'm like, no, it doesn't need to be on.
You're the minimal, right? Like, I think most people wouldn't bother.
No, they won't. But this is not how you secure your home network.
No, by far not.
Just so everyone knows, that's not how you do it. This is not how you do it. This is okay. These are good steps to take. You're, a little. I feel a little bit on the paranoid side. But this is not how you
kind of renamed it a little bit. Maybe call it best practices or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I feel that. Yeah, but there's no mention of. Do you see anything in here about a firewall?
No.
Do you see anything here about network segmentation?
No.
Do you see anything in here about deep packet inspection?
No.
Do you see anything in here about that? Those are just, again, bare bones. This is not how to secure your home network. That's the easiest way to say it. This is there's not even a false sense of security here. This does nothing. This does virtually nothing. Wireless access point. Use WPA3, which is fine, or WPA2. Okay, most people do that. Schedule weekly reboots. All right. Update with the latest software. I'm like, but that doesn't secure your network, dude. That's not how it works. Treat your network like it's a hotel. Treat every device like it's in a different hotel room. If you really want to secure your home network, you lose convenience, but That's secure, or far more secure than whatever the hell these tips are. So I appreciate the lead, but like this just it's a talking point. Like, yeah, this is not. No. 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 Y'all have anything else to add to that?
Nope.
No. Other
Right.
than, I don't know, like what do most people that are non-techie, what do they do? Like, I think for the most part, they're leaving a lot of it up to their whoever their ISP is now. I think a lot of people are using the Wi-Fi from their modems and stuff too, and at least from what I'm starting to gather, I because I seem to only really talk to a lot of people that are, techie that don't do that, right? But I'm just wondering if that's kind of the thing now, and people are kind of just leaving it up to their ISP and saying, well, they set me up, they came in here, hooked me up with the internet, made sure I was secure.
Yep.
So some of them are actually selling features, right? And all they're selling is an overpriced, well, they're charging them for, like, over here, some of the ISPs are charging for the Wi-Fi, which is just unbelievably a rip-off in my eyes. And also and saying, well, we'll control it and everything, and we'll make sure it stays secure, and then they'll give you like McAfee virus scanner or something along with it, and then they say, there you go.
Yeah.
We're keeping you secure.
By the way, I
Which is a
agree with
joke.
Tyler. Social engineering is the biggest threat. But a sophisticated attack can still happen. It's easier than you think.
Well, usually social engineering will trick you into a sophisticated attack too, right?
Right. If they just need one way in.
Yep.
That's it. That's what they're looking for. And where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
The way I do it is like, you want to make your neighbor look more attractive than you. If anything, right? Put up walls so high that it's just not worth it. That's the way I'd look at it. All right, next one. Probably not a lot to say about it, but I appreciate you, Seer, mentioning it. Samsung's Galaxy Watch 6 may take inspirations from Apple's Watch Series 7. Allegedly, the next Samsung Watch will have curved edges. Right now, the Samsung Watch, at least the newer one, it's the opposite. The edges kind of bow up around the perimeter. So I would appreciate that. I feel it would make it a little more svelte, a little easier to use, potentially, especially swiping up from the bottom. But sometimes I have to do that from navigating different screens. I'd be able to get a better running start with it. My question is whether or not this is going to come with any sensor updates or speed updates, for sure. So, small thing to add, small thing to note. Not much else to say about that.
No.
TikTok parent launches competitor Lemon 8 in the US. So is it Zhao Hongshu captured an estimated 15% of China's online e-commerce market. Now, ByteDance is trying to tap into the market too. So ByteDance is TikTok's parent company, and they're going to bring this app over to the US. Lemon 8, which is, let's see if I can.
What is it?
I believe it's basically. Let's see if we can get to the actual app page from here. No, it's shopping. Give me a second. Lemon 8. Okay, so here's the easiest way to explain it. ByteDance's Lemon 8 app is like if Instagram were all ads. So that's the easiest way to say it. The easiest way to frame it.
Hmm.
That's the easiest way to do it. So, even while Instagram and TikTok itself seem to have abandoned shopping ambitions, Lemon 8 wants to bring planting grass style ad influencers to the West. So for shopping, shopping, but for commuters, it might be worth doing if you were someone who did that kind of thing or used Amazon, their streaming services for something like it. I haven't tried it, haven't downloaded it. It's not necessarily, I feel, something that I would jump into all the time. Although I am always up for finding good deals and bargains for sure. Not necessarily. I feel this was not mistimed directly, but like if it was around during the pandemic, it would have been a boom. But now, no, that shit I feel has sailed. This was interesting. House Party's founder launches Towns, an open source group chat web app and protocol. So it's a web app, web chat, group chat, and a protocol from House Party, which was a popular app. I did not. I never. Used
I don't
House
even
Party.
know.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, I at least I've heard about it. Designed to facilitate self-owned, self-governed online communities. And I guess, the big play is Web3. There is a crypto component, but not that I think it would necessarily. It's not just a crypto project. House Party wasn't though. But it's interesting that they're bringing this out there, and it's not just a platform, but it's a protocol too. You don't hear about that so much anymore. You hear about platforms all the time. But this, I feel, is a pretty unique approach. Now, whether or not this will gain traction, that remains to be seen. But this is now, Towns is now on my radar. I think it's actually towns.com too.
Huh.
I go to towns.com. Pretty sure. Type it in the right window. Yeah. Ownable town squares for online communities. Yeah. So I'm guessing there's not just crypto, but and potentially an NFT angle, and what's the other one everyone's all about? There's another word when you're it's escaping me at the moment. Oh, it's an alpha mode. What's the word I'm looking for? DAO. I'm guessing that. Yep. Look. Yep. Right there. DAO. I was right. So the team Towns protocol has 3 key components: composable smart contracts. It's an Ethereum-based system, so we are talking like Web3, decentralized network under the protocol, but it has app towns and DAO towns. So it's an interesting way of launching communities. That's the value of a DAO, where everybody who's a part of it, gets a say in what happens with it. But I've had no experience with DAOs at all. They've always been theoretical to me. But anyway, I thought that was interesting to kind of bring up. This is also interesting, Glendon. You shared this one. I would have missed this, but what's up with that?
Yeah, so the FBI are they're just recommending everyone use a ad blocker when searching the web. I use one anyway myself, but excuse me, hold on, my window's not opening up here.
Wonder how much the corporations like hearing that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
so what's sprung? Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. No, please.
Okay. So in a public service announcement, the security agency's Internet Complaints Department says ad blocking extensions can help protect users against fraudulent online adverts that appear in search results. Cyber criminals are behind such ads that are made to look like messages from real brands and businesses, it says.
I got to be careful sometimes when I'm searching too. Even if I have ad blockers, like you've really got to watch out.
You're only as good as what your white and black lists are, right?
Right.
For whatever ad blocker that's it there. You're only as good as what they've got on their lists.
So it's interesting. FBI's now recommending it. I recommend it now. And for years I was like, no, it doesn't need to. It's fine. I'm going to reader mode here. Yeah,
it depends what you're ad blocking, right? They're just saying for searching, right?
Well, but they're saying
right.
But I think that
they can really disable you big time, right?
No one's just going to have an ad blocker just for search. Just be aware that when you are searching, OBS is a target. I guess it's been a target for malware. some people have been warned even about like Mac users downloading pirated copies of Final Cut Pro because it comes with like a crypto miner. Because they're powerful, the M1s are powerful, and a lot of people are using it for that, or on those systems, so they become big targets.
Steal your processing,
everything,
and your network.
So yeah, I mean, I've got several lines of defense, at least on the home network. When I'm mobile, when I'm on 5G, it's somewhat of a different story. But yeah, I have ad blocking mechanisms set up such that my browser either doesn't see it, or everybody's browser on the network doesn't necessarily see it. So with that, things get, theoretically, if there's a ban list out there that's up to date, any new potentials are going to be cut off at the pass. That's the goal. That's the design. I've like nothing like that. I want anywhere near us, and I warned Diana too. Like I said, when she installs things, having an ad blocker on the network itself, I feel has helped specifically for apps that normally would show ads. You just don't see them; they don't load. Right, that tracking just doesn't.
The only problem with that is like I played a lot with Pi-hole in the past, and I had set it, but I found it could disable you a lot. Like if you were like for instance, if you had that with mobile games, some mobile games would just see that and would not run or work.
I had that issue with I went to a website like, oh, you guys disable your ad blocker. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see the news that badly.
And Netflix seems to have it down to a T. No matter what you can try to block with that, you're still going to get ads, and same with YouTube.
I guess that doesn't. Well, I don't see ads
Netflix,
on YouTube
sorry,
anyway.
YouTube is what I meant to say.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see ads on YouTube anyway. I pay for $10 a month.
Yeah, that's another way around it, right?
Too.
Well,
I use premium.
But I use YouTube enough that it's just like I just don't want to think about it. I'm like, and I probably should do the same thing even for Twitch. So you can get like see, I don't use Pi-hole, but that's one example that something you can put on your network that will block ads network wide if you're interested. There are many solutions out there.
I think
the
it's
router
gotten
might
a
even
lot.
offer something.
I think Pi-hole, from what I seen the last time, and I need to get around to looking at it again, is that it's matured quite well, and I don't know. There's quite a few different third-party places out there that you can get just have them constantly downloading the new whitelists and blacklists and stuff like that, and so I don't know how often it updates, but it's almost like it's updating as much as what your virus definitions would, right? So
pretty much you're only as good as that, and as well as looking at, like, I look at the search engine too to see if I see ads. I try my best. Sometimes I even see them like, oh yeah, it's the website, but it's an ad. I'm like, I know the website, and I click through, and it's legit or anything. We're like, fine, it's right there. They're paying for me to click on it. I'll click on it, as long as you know where you're going, right? Otherwise, there's a potential problem. Here's one that I feel warrants a healthy amount of discussion too. Social media used to be free, not anymore. It's basically a pay-to-play model. That's kind of what's happening. Where you've got functionality that users expect for free. Like security, visibility, or technical support might be premium items, right? And this is kind of what Twitter is kind of jumping into that fray, and even Facebook to a certain degree. And it wouldn't surprise me at some point in the future YouTube will roll out something similar. And if I was using those platforms as a creator, yeah, I would. Hey, if that could help reach, if that would increase my reach potential, you're right. I probably would be paying for it. That would be a business expense. But for the workaday person, no, not so much. Now, security, that should not, to me, that should never be in question. That should never be in question. It should always be, security is just it's a part of the platform, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You shouldn't be paying for it. Just, use our application, but you got to pay for the security part of it. So
yeah, that doesn't
make
well.
any sense to me, and why I don't think it would make any sense to anybody else either.
Yeah, so this is I guess it's kind of really unfortunate. I understand the paying for reach thing most of all, though. with everybody out there putting things, it may hurt the people that can't afford it, but for the, when you're swimming in the same lane as everybody, you've got to do everything you can to stand out. So I feel that's, for that reason, it's a boon, right? Everything else, I'm not so sold on. Security, definitely not. But being able to get your post, I mean, let's say YouTube said, hey, if you want to get your post seen by a little bit more, then pay us, right? That's what Facebook does. You can boost posts. You boost posts in Facebook. You boost posts in on Instagram. That's not new. It's the question of, is that worth it? Not always. Like, if I'm not selling something, it's not worth it to throw money at it, right? There's no reason whatsoever, unless there's something tied to it, like a financial incentive tied to it. Yeah, but that's
if say everybody bought into this and actually bought into it and has it,
but they won't.
What I know, but if they did, would it work about as good as it does now?
But that's the thing. They won't. And they know they won't. So that I'm not saying it's a good theoretical, but in practice, you might get 5-10% conversion, which is better than being lumped in with 100%. So I mean, even Twitter's Blue subscription had paltry numbers, compared to what might have been expected, because there's no value in Twitter Blue, at least at this stage for most people, unless you want the status symbol of having the bragging rights to say you have $8 a month in discretionary income.
I would pay close attention after I paid to the metrics of if it was worth it or not. I would want enough metrics to come back to say, hey, yeah, these posts or whatever have gotten bumped up, and you see something that, instead of just paying and they're telling you they're doing it, and if you don't really kind of look at that to see if it's really has boosted you or not, then
like, what are the numbers, right?
That's what I would want, right?
Data.
Like, let me pull a report that tells me what the numbers are now, and let me compare to maybe a few months that before I paid, and then see what the difference is, and then then you can weigh it out and say, is this worth it or not for me?
Yep, that makes sense.
And you'd want to keep an eye on it too.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Not just it might be worth it at first, but then a few months down the road, like you might want to look at it monthly, right? To say, is it still a good deal or not?
I think that any subscription plan they would throw out there, it would just be one benefit, one bonus. It wouldn't be the only feature of that subscription. Like for Twitter, right? It's like, no, it would be a part of something else, right? And then it's like, okay, then those things maybe they start to add up. But while we're on the subject of social media, this is a meta-analysis, basically, of over 100 studies finding social media is a major cause of depression and anxiety in teen girls. It's not just a correlate, it's especially after 2012. So if we scroll down, there's a chart. This is the UK, but you could assume that if you've got teenage girls in the UK, assume they're teenage girls around the world, North America, Europe, wherever. They're the same by and large. Cultures are different, but they're still teenage girls, can be affected by it. And by the way, Cool Dog, I'm doing well. You're watching a 24/7 stream now. This channel is now 24/7, so you don't just have to join in and around 6 p.m. So yeah, look at this. Like, boys are less impacted by this, especially the more time they spend on it. This is concerning to me for a couple of reasons. I mean, not just globally, like even Jedi has joked around. She wants to be on Insta. She sees these things and hears about these things, and they're harmless, right? They're apps. What harm could they do? A lot.
Yeah.
And as a creator, I understand the power of using social media. I understand it, but I also understand what could go wrong.
Yes.
So,
like, Facebook is a good example of what's been going on with that. they've actually, when they were questioning Facebook about it, right, that I don't know what the circumstances were for it, but you know, the young girls were quickly being served up stuff to like dieting and you know, like all these kind of ads that are just kind of hitting that home with them, right? So it's I don't know, yeah, I don't know what word to say on it.
Yeah, that's it doesn't surprise me. I mean, especially with the younger minds, you know, you're impacted by what you see. So it's not just even it's not even a FOMO thing. It's not even a fear of missing out thing. It's
No,
you're
it's
comparing
not.
yourself to people who don't have your who don't live with your circumstances, who don't have your life, who don't have your resources, and they may have more, which just again, the more you see, like I want these things, I want these things, I want to be that, I want to be that, and the more you see it, the more that's going to impact you. So this does not surprise me.
No, not at all. And I have a teenage girl, so I know exactly where this report's coming from, and it's not surprising at all. Um, with the fads and the fear of missing it. I'm sorry.
Are you limiting her access in any way? Like
Oh
by,
yes,
okay.
yes, yeah. Because if not, then you know you're just opening up Pandora's box, in my opinion. Um, and I did the same thing for my son. I limited his activity whenever he was even younger, but it's more prevalent now, and especially with girls.
Yeah.
Because image is everything to them at this age.
Yep.
And not only in social media, but with among their peers.
Well, that's
and
the
what
thing.
they see goes a long way.
Yep.
It's hard. I mean, when you think back, it was hard enough going through like high school and
exactly.
stuff.
That's where I was going. Yep.
When, you know, and now today you have that coupling it, and it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, there's no escaping it.
No,
so
there's
you know,
not.
as much as Jedi wants a phone, I'm just like, let's just wait till you understand that, you know, you're viewing windows into other people's lives, and like everyone's got different circumstances. You got to be strong enough. I have to know that you are strong enough and confident enough in who you are before I'm going to hand you this computer that's going to have people tearing you down at every opportunity or making you feel bad about the circumstances that you have
or,
the things
or
that you
becoming
want.
like a dependent junkie on it, right? Like I've got to, you know, I want to post this, look at me, look at me, look at me, and see how many likes I can get of that. And that's like that's a drug, that's a high, right?
It
I
is.
got a thumbs up on this.
It is.
They
You know,
it.
and then they're, you know, maybe posting way too much stuff about themselves because they're just trying to compete, right? So
yeah, it can and will become a competition if you allow it. I'm lucky. Mine is not like that. She's not a follower. She doesn't, you know, look for likes or do posts or anything like that. So, but I've had the talk with her in the discussion. I was like, listen, the people that you see here, their circumstances are completely different than what ours are, completely different than what yours are, completely different than what the next person's is. So you can't set your expectations as lofty and as high as some of the stuff that you see. You have to be real about it. And she understands that. And she doesn't seem to be affected by it. In fact, she laughs a lot of it off. So I'm lucky with her, but I can see where it could be a big problem for some.
Well, especially without having developed any sense of self-worth,
right,
confidence, self-esteem, everything, right?
Yeah.
And when you pour yourself into these apps and have image as the forefront, like it's not innocuous. Like
no.
y'all, like it's not. Like this is yeah, it's a drug.
Absolutely.
And you know, I'm surprised that, you know, I mean, it is clearly a serious issue. Clearly. I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. I really don't, because I'm not sure.
The biggest thing is what you're already doing is communication, right? There's a lot of parents that just aren't finding enough time just to sit down and have those discussions, right? That's a big part of combating it, right?
What's the home life like of some of these teens? You know, you don't know what their parents are like. You know, it falls down to, you know, responsibility of the adults also.
Yeah, but what I do, I put stuff out on social,
Right.
Instagram, and I mean, I do it.
Mhm.
That used to be what I did. It's not so much what I do anymore, but it's like, when I'm doing stuff on Twitch, this is what I'm doing, right? And this is why I'm doing it. I don't, but as I've said before, I was even saying it earlier today when we had a troll come in. It's like, I don't need someone to validate me to make me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And so that's
Right.
the conversation to have. Like, you don't
When
need
you're
somebody else
young,
to
a lot
validate
of young ones need that, or
That's
they
what I'm
crave
saying.
it, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
want to belong, right?
You've got to validate
Mhm.
yourself. Then you're ready to put yourself out there. Because if you don't and you're seeking validation from other people, you're never going to find it, ever. You're never
Yep.
going to find it because the whole world's trying to do that, and they're chasing false promises. You're never going to do it. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, but you shouldn't do it to seek validation.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you
Right.
shouldn't put yourself out there and share and create. Absolutely. If you can pull it off, and more power to you. I hope you can learn from my mistakes, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, don't do that specifically to fill a hole or a void in your life where self-esteem and self-worth and self-determination and self everything is concerned, right? That's what's missing here, especially for young girls. And I think boys might have a stronger sense of self at that age, or less of those social, our social needs are different than theirs,
Mhm.
typically. And so this is how why is the chart trending this way? That's most likely why, to Glendon's point, as well as to everything that we've discussed to this point. So I do have concerns that this is going to get worse. Absolutely.
Oh, it's definitely going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, but is it
Yeah,
going
they're
to get
not
better?
doing
That's
enough.
the
It's
question.
not going to get better.
Is it going to get better?
No, it's
And
not.
I don't
It's
think
just going
it
to
will.
continue to erode.
That's the problem. that is the big problem. Hey, Jerry, Mighty Bean, good to see you. Welcome in. We're discussing today's tech news. We're almost wrapped up with this. Moving on to the tech deals here in a sec. Samsung running its own smartphone to satellite communication platform. So this is interesting. It'll support two-way text messaging and even high-definition video. They're doing this for the Exynos line, so it not to be confused with what they're doing with with Qualcomm. Qualcomm already has like satellite technology that they could be using, specifically in the X70 modem, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, which and the X70 modem. Samsung's Galaxy S23 has both chips, so theoretically, Samsung could turn on satellite features and functionality today, but whether they do and they roll it out at some point in the future, I don't know. No one really can tell what the future is going to hold. I'm fairly confident in saying that I feel conservatively 5 years, most smartphones will be shipping with satellite technology. Liberally, next 2 years, they'll have satellite technology. I feel it's like one of those things that'll become just as critical as GPS, satellite connectivity in smartphones. So so I thought that was interesting. So they've kind of kicked it up a notch by allowing a different kind of functionality. Again, is a clear differentiator. Now, where Samsung goes with their Exynos line with their devices in the future still remains to be seen. I think they're calling a mulligan, and they certainly did by shipping the S23 variants throughout the world using Qualcomm processors rather than Exynos and Qualcomm. So I'm glad they did, because Exynos was not ready, very clearly was not ready. And I think a lot of people who moved over from Exynos, from the S22 Ultra to the S23 Ultra, have said, oh my God, this is night and day. So yeah, the S22 with the Exynos wasn't really the thing that Samsung could have or should have done. So this is, I think it's fascinating news. No immediate impacts, but we should see something like this, over time, rolling out to more and more phones, whether it's powered by Samsung or Qualcomm or another company entirely. With the silence, I assume there's nothing else to add. So what do we got for? Well, first of all, before I forget, there is a new free redeem code, Duskers is available for free on the Epic Game Store. It is Thursday, so grab that if you have not. And you can already see I grabbed it, did it first thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get a reminder in the morning, like when an email comes in about a gaming company. I'm like, oh, that's right, it's Thursday. And then I pop over to Epic, add it to my. I've got like 200 Epic games in my library that I haven't played. Like, but you might as well. Free.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything, and it would normally cost you $20. Epic, I feel like they nailed this thing. Like every week, it's a free game. Every week, like you're literally like top games. Like I don't know what to play.
Yeah.
Really? Like there's a new game from Epic every week, indefinitely. And I thought it was a temporary thing at first. And I grabbed it. It was a Batman game. I'm like, what? Epic does it? I'm like, so then every Thursday, basically like clockwork for the past few years, I've done this. So that is free right now. Download it. Well, I don't really just have it. You never know.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yep, you can at least redeem it. You don't have to download it right then.
No,
but
you
if
don't.
you use the redeem
added.
code. Yeah.
Exactly. It's added to the library.
Yep.
Oh yeah, thank you. So Warren was clued in. Thank you. As Mystery Goat said in chat, Warren is right. Warren wanted to program on screen. We'd love to see more software dev on stream during the stream. I haven't seen him submit anything as far as an application, but I just saw that in the cantina when I was launching, and it looks like he got the message. Warren got the message, which is awesome.
Great.
All right, now moving to sales deals, discounts. What are we going to start with?
We can start at the top, and that's one that you posted.
But yeah. So this is more for the geek side of things, but
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Is it going to copy over? Is it not going to load? Really, it's not going to. Oh, because it wants me to trust that domain. It was doing the interruption thing because it doesn't know the domain. Let me try it this way. Here we go. Hasbro Toy Shop. Tons of sales and discounts. 40% off on some of these bigger items. Like you can get a 6-inch Dark Trooper. That's worth it because they sold for $33. So you can save boo on that.
Because that's considered a deluxe figure.
Yeah. Even though it's
yeah,
just
I
big.
know.
I wouldn't say it's deluxe. Trapper Wolf helmet. Pretty good deal. I'm not much. I already have, I think I have a couple of X-Wing pilot helmets that I got on a similar discount. This is only $79. I just ordered the newly released Clone Trooper Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet. Oh, there's the Black Series Archive. Well, yeah, you were talking about this. I'm like, wait, what?
Yep.
I can't remember. I honestly do not remember getting it.
I'm sure you have it.
So yeah, it's funny how I don't remember getting that at all. So that, now moving on to, is this yesterday? No, this is a new one?
Yep,
the
new
i7.
one.
Yeah, oh, it is. It's 12. Okay. Wait.
Yeah, it's 12th gen.
Wow, yesterday was 11. Okay.
Yep. Today is the 12th gen processor. It's the Core i7-12700K. Like I said, Chris just said, it's one generation old. We're in 13th gen right now. So it's really a great deal at 22% off at $254. Turbo's up to 5 gigahertz, similar to the 11th gen. But yeah, it's just a great deal for anybody looking to build a computer at this point in time. $254. I'd definitely look into that if it were me needing to build one. I don't know about you, Senior, but
if
a pretty good deal
nowadays, if I build, it's going to be an i9.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Right, but this is more budget friendly at this point in time. But
the i7 is a workhorse, so
it is.
You're not going to be disappointed with the performance of that.
Nope, not at all. So you get 8 physical cores and 4. Well, they're not logical. What do they call them now?
Oh, the
efficiency cores.
Efficiency and performance.
Yeah.
Performance
Yeah.
and efficiency. Yeah.
Yep. So that's the first one there.
All right. Second is
The next one is one that Jeff posted, which we covered this one last week. It's still on sale, so we can cover it again since it's still valid. It's another NVMe, which seems to be a lot of sales right now on NVMe drives. This is a 980 Pro, rock solid performance with this 980 Pro Gen 4, so you can get speeds up to, what is it, 7 gigabytes per second transfer speed. $99 for 1 terabyte, 52% off. Normally it's $209.99. There's also a 500 gigabyte version and a 2 terabyte. The 2 terabyte is still a heck of a deal in itself. If you look at it, it's 58% off. So for $159, you can get a 980 Pro 2 terabyte. That's really good.
Yeah.
Like, I want one of those for myself because I only have the 1 terabyte version, and you know, I paid way more for the 1 terabyte than the $99 asking price that it's at right now. So if you're looking for some storage, check that out.
so I Nomi3 said Twitter's going to open source the algorithm. First of all, where'd you get that news? Second of all, because that's the first I've heard about it. And second of all, will they? Because Elon said a lot about what, about what Twitter is going to do. So I'd take that one with a big grain of salt. Stay away from the 990 for now, according to Toxic Doom. I wonder why that is. The 980 Pro has been solid. Curious to know.
Yeah, I wonder what the deal is with the 990 Pro.
Seen him sending us to a Canadian deal.
Yeah, he's trying to
I
charge
put a
us
fun
more.
one in there for the coffee warming. I always have a kind of a kick at it. Like, I used to like going to ThinkGeek, right, and looking at all these little gadgets
too.
and stuff. I kind of miss looking at that. So this one kind of crossed over when I was kind of browsing around, and I thought, for those people that just love their coffee to stay piping hot while they're drinking, and that this is like a little desk hot plate, right? And it can go right up to 170 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So
I need one of those because I hate to have my coffee cold.
See, they're and I know my dad's insane. Like, he'll drink it while it's boiling, bubbling.
No, I'm not like that.
If he doesn't have it that hot, then he says it's too cold. So
it is at the US. It's also on sale, $33. So
it's
$19 off. I don't know what it is for you yet.
I can generate an affiliate link here. I have to do it in a different browser though.
I just thought I'd put a fun one in there.
That's a fun. I like those. Those are great.
Yeah.
More. I miss ThinkGeek too.
I do too.
Here, I'll put the US version on the. Here we go. Let me paste it here. Wait a minute. What happened to my camera? What the? Why?
Well, I guess that's it, folks. He's gone.
That was bizarre.
The camera's haunted tonight. It's focusing on other things and it's shutting off when it wants to.
Weird. My camera hates me today, I guess. All right, so there's that. I can close that. I wonder if it's because when I opened Safari, it kicked me out. Anyway, so it's currently 33% off here in the U.S. Looks really nice. Looks stylish. Fits right in.
You have to pick one up.
Control? No, there's a cable.
Oh, there's a cable.
Hang on. Look, it says. Hang on. Wait. What does that say? Compatible with multifarious mugs. What the hell is multifarious? Is that a word?
Multivarious, maybe. Maybe they. It's a typo, maybe.
What the hell is a multifarious? The baby. Whoa! I'm gonna burn my hand. That's what I want. Like, this is not a good idea. Why would you want a baby crawling in and around? Like,
I don't know.
It's like, oh, I can't wait to burn my hand. The baby's all like, I can't wait. I'm gonna burn my hand.
Burn the baby. Burn the baby.
God. Hang on. Seriously, is multifarious? Am I missing something? Multifarious.
This is where
Many and various types. I learned a new word today.
wow,
you
I didn't
go.
think that was possible.
It
Now,
is.
now he'll be going around saying that all the
Now
time.
he's going to come up with reasons to say multifarious.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to work that into sentences now.
That's something to expand your vocabulary.
Yeah, no kidding.
Quite an
Look at the
extended
grin on his
vocabulary to begin
face.
I'm
He's
happy.
got a new word.
Yeah,
But I just have to work into the vocabulary, otherwise I forget it real quick.
right.
I'm still trying to figure out how to work alacrity and compunction properly. Those always trip me up, but I love those words.
I don't even know what either means.
I know.
So
I know. Compunction would be like if you don't feel bad about something you did that was bad, I believe. And alacrity is, oh god, how do I frame alacrity? Oh yeah, I'll do it later.
okay.
Thumb drives. This is Canadian pricing.
Yep.
Seen it found.
So
Good pricing,
this
though?
is something I'm probably going to pick up, and I know some people are got thumb drives. Who does that anymore? But if you're a tech person like me, yeah, I'm always trying to dig for one around to put some sort of image on so that I can, whether it's a Windows image or whatever, and so that I can do clean installs. So for 10 of them, it's $42.99. So that works out to what? The $4.25 Canadian or something like that, around that, per thumb drive, and each one has 32 gigabytes of space on each one. So yeah, I might just get a bag of these just because I'm always trying to grab from one and then reformatting it, and I've left it downstairs wherever.
Yeah.
So
that's a good idea.
I thought it was a
especially with
decent little
3D
deal if
printers,
you're
too.
if you're in the market for them.
And by the way, Glendon, I think you can actually edit these posts to put in the affiliate links too.
Okay. I will do that.
Including with when Yasir does things, you should be able to at the top. You should have that. I think all admins have that ability.
Okay.
To
To go in and edit it.
Yasir also found the same one. I think that's the same one.
Yep.
And then an LG 27 UK.
Yeah,
Found
that was something that he pulled up.
Yeah,
He
and then
pulled
the
it up here.
980 Pro, he found those.
Yeah.
So
Me, him, and Jeff all found that. So
nice, y'all are on the same page.
yep.
That's a good thing.
All right.
Yeah,
So
like
the monitor
always
is
needs drives for installs. So yes.
yeah. Like I was saying too, 3D printers. I always need a thumb drive because sometimes they go bad.
Yeah.
And I just never have enough. It seems I've got like 3 or 4, and I keep using those, and I've had them forever. So I need to update and get some new ones.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to do it right there.
Mm-hmm. Just buy them in bulk like that, and then
Yeah.
you've got lots. I'm doing
I guess I
reinstalls
haven't.
or whatever.
Mine don't fail all that much.
I've had
I don't-
2 of the 3. Well, no, both of the Prusa, the thumb drives that they sent with
yeah, I
my
don't use
Prusias,
those. Yeah, I don't.
they went dead.
No,
I'll tell you, they'll go dead pretty quick. You leave them in your pocket, and then you do the laundry.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll happen.
They'll come here clean though.
No need for a disk utility there.
No.
all right. I think that about covers it, at least for tonight. There's the news, updates, etc. We're going to continue geeking out here live, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. See you later.